bet the internet just crapped out. I bet that's what it was.
Probably. Well, no, because mine's working.
What was that?
Mine's working, so your internet couldn't have crapped.
That was funny when you said that.
Are you still alive?
Feels like voting for a Republican. But I'm gonna do it! You wanna know why?
Why?
Because the alternative is a fascist! A fascist is a fascist! Maybe we can have the conversation about dismantling...
Is the echo still there?
I can listen.
Yeah, I don't know if it's echoing or not. I might have it. There it goes. Wait a minute.
I'll listen. Hold on. Is it echoing?
Yeah, no, we should be good now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, alright. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
What is a woman? Can you tell me that?
So you've come out against the rioters in Charlottesville and all their violence and bigotry.
Yep.
The leaders of the Charlottesville rally were empowered by the rhetoric and agenda of Donald Trump and a lot of his associates as they've come out in the Vice documentary and claimed. You've not only said controversial things, but you've had a couple of attacks against the trans community, transphobic attacks, even your call for the transfer of Palestinians, which I don't know if you've redacted that.
Yeah, I redacted that like 9 years ago.
I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure. I wanted to ask you. No, I'm just learning about Ben.
No, really, that's fine.
Here.
That's fine.
But even with that, do you feel that a lot of your speech could incite the same kind of violence?
I mean, you heard my speech tonight. Do you feel that my speech could incite violence?
Well,
No, what's up, Jay?
I mean that seriously. That's an honest question.
I know you're asking honestly. I feel that for me, as an individual, it isn't, but I could see how a lot of your points I really disagreed with. I literally have a list of
And that's
questions
fine. I mean,
have
that's
for
the good
you.
part, right? Where we disagree and we can have a conversation.
I just was wondering in terms of and what I mean by inciting violence is
I don't know why, like, it don't matter either, but no echo. Awesome, man. Thanks. Thanks, Magoo. I've never noticed that Ben Shapiro wears a yarmulke. I didn't know he was a Jewish hat.
is encouraging the same people who believe in like your transphobic beliefs, even that like homophobic.
She said you're just like your transphobic police. I know what they say, like with the definition of transphobic, it just means you just don't like them. But you know, having a phobia of something means you're scared of it, have a fear of it. They say that like people, like we're all scared of trans people or whatever, and I'm definitely not scared of them. I'm not scared. I'm not gonna be scared.
Don't like 'em.
I'm not gonna be scared of any man that is willing to wear a dress in public. But
Because if anything, they are the ones that will be scared of you.
Phobia is a sin based on your religious beliefs. Do you believe that because of what you say, you can encourage a lot of people to act on those beliefs.
So I have a very strong standard with regard to incitement, and I'm very consistent about this. If I'm not telling somebody to commit violence, I am not inciting them to violence. I've held the standard for Barack Obama when he was saying anti-police things, and then somebody went and shot up some police officers in Dallas. I said that's not Barack Obama's.
What up, 79, 5x5? What did I walk into? Nothing, man. Just hanging out, watching a little bit of everything. Watching some different stuff. Nothing specific.
Fault. When a Bernie Sanders supporter went and shot up a congressional baseball game, I said that's not Bernie Sanders' fault because Bernie Sanders wasn't calling for that. Political debate requires that you talk to people and people take your words as what they mean, not as an excuse to go and do violence. I've never called for violence, nor would I. As far as the idea that...
Yo, what's up, DR? How you guys doing, man? I appreciate everybody that's here right now. Make sure you guys hitting the like button, share the stream. All that is very much appreciated.
My words are some sort of attack, a violent attack, for example, on folks who are transgender. My view,
not saying they're
I know,
violent
but
attack.
I'm responding to the people who are not you who might say that. Okay. So the idea that I am transphobic, for example, this is a bizarre kind of attack in the sense that I don't know that I've ever exhibited phobia of trans people. I'm not afraid of trans people.
Well, transphobia is more along the lines of prejudice against the trans
So I
community.
I actually think that your first characterization was right. I think that transphobia is really disagreement with the basic principle that the trans community is trying to purvey, which is that people's sex is malleable, that people can move from male to female, and that it is my job, objectively, to now call them the name they wish to be called, and to teach my children that men can be women and women can be men. I fundamentally disagree with that point. Now, with that said, is everybody in the United States entitled to the same rights? Of course, but your right does not extend to forcing me to call you what you want me to call you. That's not the way this works. That violates my freedom of speech. So in interpersonal relationships, if I were out to dinner with a trans person, would I make a point of noting their proper biological sex? No, because that would be impolite. When I'm talking about the general principle.
Yo, DR, I appreciate that 5, man. Very, very much appreciated. Yeah, anything like that helps with these channels, man, because they kill us. But I very much appreciate that, brother.
Is a man a woman or is a woman a man? The answer is I will say that a man is a man and a woman is a woman and a he is a he and a she is a she. And if I'm in a public debate with somebody, I will say the same thing.
When you die, you go to another life. Maybe heaven, maybe purgatory, maybe hell. These are the kind of questions that make us puzzle.
I was muted. I like Ben Shapiro. I liked him a lot when I first found out about him, and I don't remember what happened, but something happened, and I got to where I didn't watch it much for a while. I don't remember what it was he said, but I kind of fell off on him, and but for a long time now, man, I do like him, and it's hard to beat him if you don't know your facts about what you're going to try to debate him on. It's not smart to do that.
I do want to clarify that when I meant, I wasn't trying to say disagreement, I was relating it to the same definition of homophobia, which is prejudice, or I tried to say.
How's the volume on the video, guys? Is the video volume good level for you guys? Is my mic volume, everything good? If I need to adjust anything, let me know.
Discrimination.
Right. So I think that again, homophobia. There are some people who actively want to do violence to people who are gay. Right. I mean, those people are not me or anybody that I agree with. Obviously, I've never at any point in my entire career ever advocated violence, God forbid, against anybody in a civilized society. That's not something that I believe in, and I think it's evil. As far as I think again, your original definition of transphobia actually is better applied here as well. I think it's disagreement with certain principles that the homosexual community wishes to espouse.
What I was saying was that's not what I was. I was instead
I know,
of saying
and I'm saying that I agree with your
means.
original definition and not your definition. So the definition that you made.
No, I'm not saying it's mine. It's one that I Googled that I found.
Right.
So,
and I think that definition is wrong, and I think that the one that you Freudian slipped was right. Is what
so
I'm saying.
I'm saying based on the institution of, I don't want to say the institution of Google because that's an extremely general thing to say, but in terms of as soon as you search transphobia, homophobia, this is what comes up.
Right, and I
Do
think,
you feel like even though you're disagreeing with transphobia, with the trans community, which I believe we all have our own disagreements, I'm asking, do you feel that the fact that with your disagreement, you're inherently, through the institutions that have provided these definitions, discriminating against trans community.
And
thus,
I'm saying
thus encouraging other people
right.
to follow.
So
I know
here's
it's a long
what,
question, but
right.
I had to
That's fine.
encapsulate a lot of
So
things.
here's what I'm saying. I disagree with either their definition is wrong or it's overly broad in its application.
Okay.
So if the idea is that if I say a man is a man and a woman is a woman is inherently transphobic, that's not discrimination, that's disagreement.
It's also facts. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. There's no argument with that, right? There's no in between. I mean, you are either man, you are either woman.
That's smart.
Say it again.
I said something smart.
You're a very smart girl
There's
anyway.
no in between.
That
Well,
gives off at
I
least a
have
little-
said, and I will continue to maintain, that gender dysphoria or gender identity disorder, whichever DSM you choose to use, is a mental illness. That is, and again, God forbid that it should be said with any animus, because this is not said with animus. When people are suffering, these are clearly folks who are suffering. When people are suffering,
They want straight men to date trans women and be okay with it. Instagram has women messaging men, and it's names like Jessica John, a woman's name and a man's name, posting pictures of a beautiful woman. Absolutely, yeah, I get weird messages and stuff all the time from random. Well, whether they're male or female, I don't know, but they look to be male, female. Hey, is this live? No, it's not okay. No, I don't think so. No, it's not live. I'm just going through a list, man. I'm just watching random videos. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat that one out loud right now. Yeah, high tech, man. I don't, you're absolutely right about that, man. The thing on the social media, first off, that would be crazy to start messaging back and try to meet up with some of these people, because you never ever, nowadays, you don't know, man. It could be a woman, it could be a man, and it's literally like I don't know, man. I think your chances of it actually being a man instead of a woman nowadays is probably better. How often you come live, bro? Well, I want to get on the actual schedule doing it, but right now it's just sort of random because it's Friday night. We were just all hanging out or whatever. So my wife and one of my daughters went to bed, and the other one's hanging out here with me. So I figured we just do some live stuff, watch some videos or whatever. You all digging McDonald's and Calhoun's new video? Absolutely, man. The thing, it's bad. I like that song. I like Adam Calhoun. I like Tom McDonald. Yeah, that song was definitely. I saw that it was going live today, and I forgot about it at first until about lunchtime. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully DR we can get on an actual schedule with it.
and you shouldn't be saying stuff with animus. I'm not saying that as a gotcha to people who are transgender. The point that I'm making is that when a society begins treating folks who have mental illness as though they are representing an objective reality, they are doing no service to the people who actually suffer from a mental illness. My grandfather suffered from schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. He was institutionalized. If the doctors had said to him, Nate, you're fine. We believe that the radio is actually talking to you. That is not a service to him. That would have been terrible for him. Right? They put him in an institution, they gave him lithium, and it helped. Now, I'm not saying there's even a great solution for folks who have gender identity disorder or gender dysphoria, because the solutions that I've seen, including transgender surgery, are not
I'm gonna say
intensely
that's not
effective
odd
from all the
that
studies
you
that
are.
I've seen. It's a
That's probably a
tragic,
good
tragic
thing.
situation. But the solution is not to redefine as a society what sex means along anti-biological lines.
Yeah, I believe
As far as the homophobia point,
I believe 100%.
it's my own religious belief about the sinful nature of particular people's behavior should have no impact on how you act in a free country or how you think. It's a free country. Do what the hell you want. Right? There's religious ben, which is what I think is sinful, which is Jews who violate Sabbath.
All right, I'm gonna let this play
Right?
for a
Jews
second.
who
I'll
eat
be back.
shellfish. Right? There's a lot of things that we think are sinful in Judaism. Right? And then there's the stuff where do what you want because it's a free country. I think people do a lot of sinful stuff all the time, and I'm not calling them on it. Right? I think the people who are living together outside of marriage are sinning according to my traditional religious beliefs. It's a free country. Do what you want. So when people say homophobia, I think what they are doing is saying you disagree with me. I've never called for violence, and not only that, I'm in favor of legalization of same-sex marriage in the sense I want the government completely out of marriage, right? I don't want the government in the marriage business at all. So it's very... So I think that what bothers me is when folks assume that a disagreement means that they can ascribe animus, anger, hatred, wish for violence to me.
Which is what a lot of the Charlottesville rioters were doing.
Well, the Charlottesville rioters were garbage people. I mean, I did 2 full episodes on how
I know.
garbage the Charlottesville rioters
I mean,
were.
this has been really great, actually, to have this
Yeah.
dialogue. But I think what
I was the #1 target of the alt-right in 2016, according to the Anti-Defamation League.
I looked you up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. But what I and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be sassy, but what I really wanted to understand was because you have such a large platform, I mean, even through Twitter, through social media, through your website, through your just all your work, like, do you not claim? I don't know of any particular cases where someone has said Ben Shapiro told me to literally go murder a trans person or someone who.
And if they did, they would be lying.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted
that's-
to ask you about.
Right, and if they
the
did, they would be
encouraging of the
lying, and I would
similar
think that, and again, anybody who commits acts of violence or evil in my name is a violent, evil person.
Okay.
And I hope that's standard for everyone. But I really appreciate you coming out.
Thank
It really
you.
means a lot to me. Thank you.
This game, you're not ready for it.
When you say money in politics is bad, again, I ask you, Buddy Roemer gave you $4 million to start TYT. What did he expect in return? Should he not have given you money? Was the money not speech? It was just money, after all. It's just like a hooker, I assume. So are you the prostitute? How did this work?
Health insurance is an earned benefit.
Ben himself is good, and I'm good with that. God, family, country absolutely is 3 very, very important things.
It's not given for free to employees, they earn it. Should your employer be able to decide how you spend your money?
It is,
Hold up.
Hold on. Earned 1 second. Earned from whom? Okay, I may think that I earn twice the salary that I get from this radio station. That doesn't mean that I have an earned benefit from the radio station for twice what they're willing to pay me. It's always a consensual relationship.
You pay for your health care?
Well, first of all, I do because it was negotiated in the contract that I signed, in which I voluntarily engaged. And if I don't like that, I can quit tomorrow. How about combating actual acts of racism? How about singling out racism and then actually doing something about it, as opposed to doing this kind of Marxist newspeak in which we go through everybody's hidden actions? You know, I'm sensing a real sort of underlying, racial bias to this whole segment. Robert, I find you to be racially biased. I find you to be insensitive, bigoted, and misogynist based on everything that you've said. It may be hidden. Maybe I can't detect it, but we all know it's there. So perhaps you should go through this program. At the end of the program, you will feel free. You'll feel better about yourself, and you'll feel more informed because after all.
Whenever the topic of institutional racism is brought up,
Sure.
you'll always ask, where is the institution? Show me the racist laws so that we can fight them together.
Correct.
Welcome to Alabama. This would qualify as a racist institution, the state of Alabama.
So now I go back to the question that you say that you answered, which is, show me the law. You've named an institution you don't like. Now show me the law.
No, it's not an institution I don't like. I've lived here my whole life. But
I mean, you called it racist, so I assume you're not super fond of it.
Yeah, it has flaws, to say the least. But the Constitution of Alabama demands that schools be segregated by race. If it weren't for the federal government, there would only be white people in this room.
I will admit to you. Okay, so a couple of fundamental assumptions. Okay, I'm going to admit I have not read the Constitution of the state of Alabama, so I don't know the provision that you are talking about. I will assume that it says what you say it says for the purposes of this conversation. If in fact there's a provision in the state law of Alabama that says that segregation is mandated by law, of course that's racist. That's Jim Crow, and that would be institutional racism. The point that I'm making is that there are a lot of black people in this room today because the institutional racism that you are decrying was in fact wiped out at the legal level by the federal government in the 1960s. So if you're citing a law from 1873 or 1865, whenever the Constitution embedded segregation, if you're citing that law to prove institutional racism and that law has not been applied for 50 years, you're going to need to do better.
Race place and that all that what happened with the swastika, but you can't wear the Halloween costume you want unless no one finds it offensive.
If you guys have something else you want to watch, like a different topic or something, different video, specific video, let me know and I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up here. Vince, yeah, I figured it did, man, because I wasn't sure how. I'm not sure exactly how loud this microphone gets, so I don't know. I can't. Oh yeah, I'm sure you're probably right, man. It's hard for me to get these volumes right when I'm not watching it. It was super loud. All right, here I'm gonna let this play, and I'm gonna see if I can adjust that volume. So don't give up. I ain't going nowhere. I don't give up. I don't give up. But anyway, I'm gonna let this play. So I'm gonna adjust the volume on the video. You let me know if it is loud or whatever.
Well, now the selectively offended get to run the rest of the country. I mean, this is what we are creating. We are creating a society of panty-waist fascists. What we are creating is a group of people who are oversensitive to everything and then are willing to call the cops as soon as they are offended. It's actually incredible, and it's a violation of the First Amendment, which you saw with a professor from the Mass Communications Department at Missouri telling reporters that they have no right to be there, and at Yale you have students shouting.
No, it was. I think it was still pretty high. Let's see here. I don't know that even made a difference, really.
If this is the climate that we're supposed to create, if this is supposed to create openness and tolerance on the campus, I'm missing the openness and tolerance in let's call the police if I'm mildly offended because my feelings have been hurt. I mean, this is creating a country of crazy people. How can you watch this and not go crazy and think that everyone who's involved in it is crazy?
How can you honestly stand up here and say that you support abortion, you support government intervention, you support government intervention
talk at the same time. Yeah, I don't know if it goes down
illegal,
with
which is designed to kill someone,
low.
and yet you can stand up here and say you don't want government intervention for guns, which are also designed to kill people.
Because guns are not designed to kill children. Guns are designed to kill bad guys if operated by a proper person. There's not an.
I mean, he's talking pretty low right now, but I don't know if. I can adjust it over here too, but it's on the same. It's all on the same thing as my microphone and everything.
Employees' freedom is not infringed upon when they enter into a consensual relationship with an employer that includes certain types of health care.
Not consensual.
Turn that down and see what happens there. It's good. Keep it. All right, let me know if that changed anything. I just did something else after I read that comment. So if it did anything that was like negative, then let me know, and we'll readjust it. DR is not your tech support, man. I need tech support, dude. It's now super low. Okay. All right, hold up.
Guns the whole issue.
That should be where it was at right there when DR said it was good. So hopefully that was it.
Do you think a first trimester?
Yeah, but man, since 79, I gotta have tech support, man. I'm not good with this stuff. I mean, I know enough to get around and make it work, but
it
My
has
brother and
more
a
value
couple of
than
my
just
nephews,
a
man,
person
they're
themselves.
the
If
tech
left
people
to
in our
its
family.
natural processes, it will grow into
Come
a
at me
baby.
with
So the real
digital.
question is,
Why
where
don't
do you draw
you
the
try
line? So you
and-
can draw the line at the heartbeat.
Hey,
It's
man,
very
tech
hard to
support
draw the
dudes
line at
make a
the
bunch of
heartbeat. There
money.
are people who are adults who are alive because of a pacemaker. They need some sort of outside force
I mean,
generating
these
their
guys that
heartbeat.
do like
Okay,
IT
you do
work,
it based on
that-
brain
they're-
function. Okay, well, what about people who are in a coma? Should we just kill them?
No, you're
Right? The
good.
problem is that
All right,
anytime
good,
you draw
good.
any line other than the inception of the child, you end up drawing a false line that can also be applied to people who are adults. So either human life has
DR's
intrinsic
upset
value or
that
it
you're
doesn't. I
trying
think
to-
we
you're trying to
both
make
agree
him-
that adults' human life has
You're
intrinsic
trying to
value.
make
We
him
start
the
from that
good
premise.
guy.
I believe that sentience is what gives something moral value, not
Okay, so-
necessarily being a human alone.
Okay. So
Keep it here.
You're allowing attention-seeking and somewhat narcissistic undergraduates to gain the upper hand over you in your class.
You're talking around my question.
What about Jordan Peterson? What do you guys think about Jordan Peterson here? I like Jordan Peterson a lot, man. I think he's an awesome dude. I can duck a great Donald Duck voice if you ever knew him. I got Kermit. I got a couple.
I'm not saying I'd be correct. That's not the same thing at all. There's no damn way I was going to say those words when I was compelled to by law.
I teach students. I teach trans
He's a
students.
good dude, very logical.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I think he's
asked
really smart,
often to
man.
call people
He's like one of my favorite
singularly
people to listen
they.
to on the internet.
It started probably about 4 years ago. It struck me as very odd. I'm 52. And some of them,
about that before,
you can
and
tell that
apparently
it's
didn't
coming
get
from a very
posted.
deep
Oh,
place.
Jordan Peterson.
And that's
Yeah,
how
I
they
might
feel
not
when
have
they
seen it.
deeply need to be called they.
Yeah, I like Jordan Peterson, man. He's
Some of
a
them,
smart guy.
my horse sense says that they're kind of enjoying giving me a certain shock. And my general feeling has been, whatever they ask, just go with it and let's change our usage of the pronouns because we have a lot to do. Now, what you said was interesting. You said that the way that you make the difference in deciding these cases is based on the fact that you have psychological training and you can tell. What I want to know is, for my own elucidation, and also because I think many of us wondered, but then it kind of went by, how do you know?
Jordan Peterson
If you hear a tiny
is
bit
a
of
voice
skepticism
people need to live
in
by.
my voice, you're
He don't
correct.
tell you to
However,
live this
I
way.
am open to being
He just
convinced.
tell you how life
Based
is
on
and
your
how it's
training,
raised.
which is immense.
I actually agree with that.
How would you
that's
know
put well, DR.
which
I
students
like
to
that.
discount as opposed to which ones
Yeah, he definitely
go
gives
along?
you a guideline
Well, first of all, I
as
wouldn't
to
know.
How to
Right,
live.
which is part
From
why
a
your
man's
skepticism
standpoint,
is
he's
justified. But
he
I have
definitely
to
gives
be
good advice
responsible
as far
for
as
what I
man
say
advice.
based on my willingness to take responsibility for my judgment. So I would be willing to do that despite the fact that I might be wrong. But having said that, in any reasonable situation, I would err on the side of addressing the person in the manner that they requested to be addressed. But that's not the issue for me. The issue is now I'm compelled by law to do so. It's like, no, not doing it, not now, because it's compelled by law. So that's the end of the game as far as I'm concerned. So, because there was no excuse for compelling it by
JP
law.
has a video that just
I don't think it was an isolated legislative move. I think it's part and parcel of a whole sequence of legislative moves that have been made and that continue to be made in Canada. I think it's an attempt by a certain radical ideological, what would you say, a certain radical ideology to gain the linguistic upper hand, which I think is a terrible thing to do, to allow. So I had lots of reasons for rejecting the legislation. But it had nothing to do with...
We're talking about expertise here.
Common sense.
My
is
ears
so
pricked
no,
up
man. Common
when
sense is
you talk
actually
about how
extremely
there
scarce
is
nowadays.
A way of thinking
I mean, like
that
crazy
would allow
scarce.
us to decide. I know some
No,
of
there's
my
a way of
students-
thinking that would allow me to decide for me.
No, us to decide for us. Surely you have a
Yeah, I
larger
have,
mission than just what's
everybody's
going
good on
in
my
your
end,
own head,
man.
and I mean
I
that.
appreciate
No,
that.
I had a
Mark.
perfectly
everybody-
straightforward
well,
mission, which was
man,
there was
let me
no
back
damn
up.
way I was going to say those words when I...
Let me back up, because I tell you something I didn't say, because I keep personal life usually most of the time off this until I do need maybe some prayers. So Mark, because you did bring it up, my dad is actually not doing well again, and his wife is actually But anyway, so his wife is actually in the hospital. So if you guys don't mind to, say a couple prayers for them, they definitely could use it right now. So she's got COVID, pneumonia, whatever else. She's definitely not. She's not doing good at all, man. But she's hope we're a little close to that radio show. Yeah, the radio show is a matter of me just going and doing it. For the most part, that's one reason I started doing the live thing here and trying to do something is to try to get adjusted to doing it live. Try to help with the radio show when we start doing it. Is this a normal time for you to run? Man, I am up almost every night. I'm up late. I probably won't be live at 3:30 in the morning very often, but I would say about midnight my time, which is Eastern time, it would be the average time probably for me to start going live. I stay up late and get up early, and it's kind of how I do things. Yo, 79, I appreciate that $2, man. Very, very much appreciate it. Appreciate that, Magoo. Yeah, they'll pull through it, man. They're tough. I have a theory about these older people, and that is these older people, they pull through and do things that people our age just can't do anymore. Just for many people like you, there will be people that tell you that your way of thinking is wrong, but you have a gut feeling, and all you do is follow that. All you need to do is follow that. Absolutely, I agree. Man, your gut feeling is definitely there's a reason that you have those gut feelings. That's your brain telling you something. Your brain and your heart working together tell you something's wrong. I definitely appreciate that, DR.
I was compelled to by law.
But
that was my mission.
You weren't trying to model for the rest of us a way of thinking. It was really only about you.
Another 5 from 79.
Well, it was about me and the law.
That's me, man. I've always been that way.
The lawmakers had gone too far. They'd stepped out of their appropriate territory into the domain of linguistic freedom. And as far as I was concerned, I was going to put up with that. And so if people were happy about that and wanted to follow the example, that was fine with them. But for me, it was something, and that was the statement. I'm not doing this. And then if people can draw their own conclusions from that, maybe they want to do it. I mean, and I've spoken with no shortage of trans people, and my proclivity has been without exception so far to address them in the manner that seems most socially appropriate under the circumstances. Now, you asked a specific question, which was, do I have...
Catch 45. Hey, Justin, watching from New Zealand. Love what you do, man. I'm interested in what you think about Andrew Tate. That's a good question, man. Nobody has actually asked me about Andrew Tate. Hey, what's up, Jay? Welcome in, brother. I responded to your comment earlier on the last stream, but something went crazy with the audio and stuff, and we had to restart. My thoughts on Andrew Tate. Well, I know when I first heard about Andrew Tate, I heard nothing but bad things. It was a lot of things about him beating on women and stuff like that. So right at first, to be honest, I kind of ran with what I heard. I mean, if I'm just being honest, and I didn't like him because of what I was hearing. But the more I started watching him and actually paying attention to him, I don't know what those videos were what those accusations were about. As far as I'm not talking about what he's in trouble for now, but the stuff before. But as far as his message, what he said, the things that he makes his videos about and stuff like that, I like Andrew Tate. It doesn't mean that I know everything. It doesn't mean that I know everything about Andrew Tate, but from what I see as far as what he tells men and young men today and the way he promotes basically taking care of business, and being a man and just doing what you need to do to be the best kind of man that you can. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All these men, these young boys are coming out now. They need men to listen to, because dads nowadays, and I'm not saying every dad, but most dads, they just don't teach their kids to do things like our dads did. Not a Tate fan, but I don't judge. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I could be wrong. I mean, he's definitely cocky and mouthy, but hey, it is what it is. He's got a good message. That's just his personality, and like I said, if you got a man nowadays that young men are willing to kind of hone in on and pay attention to what he's saying and try to take that advice and run with it, then I'm good with that, man, because the world needs a lot of these young boys, these young men to step up and be men instead of, good God, these girly little sissy-fied boys that they are.
Have special expertise that I might share with other people.
You're doing Martin Luther, and I think I'm assuming you are a little subtler than those.
Misunderstood.
Well, what makes you think that you're doing the kids that are
I think so too, man. I agree, Jay.
Because I can't decide which ones those are. I just have my gut instincts, and that's not good enough.
Look, fair enough, but you have a type 1 and type 2 error problem. So one error is that you don't call students what they deserve to be called. That's one error. And the other error is that you call students what they want to be called even though they don't deserve it. And so what you're trying to do
I definitely like the fact that we have
those errors. And to do that, you have to take a middle route.
Social media, the social media influencers that use it for a positive
you've decided to allow for the possibility 100%
There's so many
of
bad
one
things
of
that get
those
promoted
errors
on the
because you
internet
think
that
it's a
don't
less
get censored,
significant
they don't
error.
get shut down, and the pages don't
you
get
might be right, but
canceled
it's not
out.
like you're acting in an error-free
The
manner.
ones that are
You've just
positive
decided to minimize
pages
one form of error
speaking
at the
against all
expense
this
of the other.
craziness, they're the ones that
Because
get
I would say you're
canceled and
allowing
demonetized.
attention-seeking and somewhat narcissistic
deleted.
undergraduates to gain the upper hand over you in your class. Now, believe me, it's
a
not a
risk,
criticism. It's not a criticism. I understand why you're doing it.
Are you saying
gonna be that guy, you know?
Psychological theory has nothing to teach us about this? Because you're talking around my question. You're gorgeously articulate. You're smarter than me. Does psychology have anything to teach us or not? Yes or no? This question.
I don't think that it has anything to teach. I don't think it has anything to offer that I could teach you without. Let me think.
So it's just too complicated?
No, it's not. No, it's not that. Well, it is that in part because it's not easy to articulate out the principles, the unerring principles by which you would make such a categorical judgment, right? Because those are very situation-specific problems, you know, and it's part of the problem of how to make a generic moral truth apply to a very individualistic situation. And the problem in the sorts of situations that you're describing is generally the devil's in the details, right? You have all these students, the ones that you just laid out. They vary in their attitude towards their self-professed gender from the ones who are grandstanding to some degree, let's say, to the ones that are very serious. And you have to make a judgment in the moment that is dependent on the variables that present themselves in a very complex way in that situation. And I understand why you took the path that you took.
I'm scared to death. We all have things
to do so. My point was that you don't minimize all the errors by doing so. It's fine. It's still a fine way of approaching. It isn't. My point was that because of my psychological acumen,
it is DR.
The experience that I've derived is that I would be comfortable.
Makes it worse, man, having kids, because I know what the way they're trying to push our country, man, and I'm not even going to say the whole world anymore, because you got countries banning a lot of this trans stuff.
That's not the same thing as being right.
Vladimir Putin, man, you know, whatever it is we think about him, but he also banned trans surgery for minors and all, or whatever it was.
Genuinely asking for something.
We need to do the same thing here.
But I'm also,
and all of us have kids. I'm 40 years old. All of us have kids, man, growing up in this mess. That's scary. Because this stuff nowadays, man. Even when I was a teenager, 20 years ago, you'd have never seen this pushed like this. Guess I'm okay with what world of JP cocky over just JP cocky over there teaching my daughter how to fight versus how to run her mouth. Nice, funny, yep. The rainbows in the Bible and the LGBT took it to mock the goodness. I agree with that. I agree they did it on purpose. And yeah, man, 79, you're right. My youngest daughter, actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. All my kids are all pretty tough. My kids know that. They know there's a lot I don't put up with. There's people, they know what is acceptable from them. They know what is acceptable from other people to them, and what they're supposed to put up with, and when they're supposed to have when their limit has been reached, and they know that. I found out today guns are illegal in Ukraine and Australia. Yeah, I knew they were illegal. I don't think they've been illegal that long in Australia. I think that was just over the last couple of years, I think they started trying to push for them to be illegal or something. And Ukraine, I know there are some countries over there that have gun laws that prohibit guns all in general, but I don't know specifically about Ukraine. All right, somebody give me a topic. Who are we looking up here? What are we doing? There used to be all kinds of videos on here, man. You could look up these liberal people.
Keep it quilted means you.
Let's see what's happening here. Yeah. UFOs? All right, well, she's tough as nails. I'd have the poor bitch swing. That's what we say too, man. We say the same thing. Our youngest one, man, she's mean. And whatever man she ends up with in her future, he's gonna have to be tough, because it's gonna be hard to deal with, or she's gonna be hard to deal with.
My question.
Oh, young lady. Well,
I'm just asking you to listen to me.
and I'm about to answer the first question.
But I didn't finish my question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm black.
You going inside, baby girl?
Less than 9% of the people in this room are black. And we're all not here for you.
It's like a VTuber.
Do you think there are racial inequalities in America? And how do you feel about Trump increasing both economic inequality and discrimination for people of color and LGBTQ people? What about violence against marginalized people in the United States? Can you talk about that?
Good night, all, and thank you, sir, for your dialogue.
Well, the subject was about.
All right, Magoo, I appreciate you hanging out, man. Have a good night. Definitely appreciate you hanging out.
National security and foreign policy. You are looking for the woke room, which is down the hall just past the preschoolers who are wetting their pants. Only thing people. Watch what happens when a couple of BLM activists are confronted by an anti-BLM black man.
If you complain about, what is it exactly do you want from white people?
All right, let's see. What is the, and you love Jesse Peterson? I don't know who that is. I have no idea who Jesse Peterson is. Good night, Miss Fowler. They said 79 said good night, Graceface. I said good night.
Good night.
Alright. It's on the video I have. Let's see. Let's see. Jesse Peterson, where's it at? Right here. I don't know who that is. Let me look him up. I cannot tell you. Jesse Lee Peterson. You don't know who Jesse Peterson? No, I don't.
So I asked the question, are you better?
This guy here, I'm assuming? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, I do know who this guy is. I didn't realize what his name was though. He is the most would consider a race traitor. Well, let's see. Let's see. Overcoming thoughts, how to be an example. In an hour. Let's see what. Let's see what he says right here.
In the Word of God, it's very beautiful, and have a good day.
You said have a good day?
When I grew up, I was raised by a single father, a black man. I'm biracial.
Is the sound of the video back up loud, or is it still good?
All that stuff. But when I was 15 years old, my dad passed away, and my mom wasn't around, and
the only exception, and I wouldn't even call an exception, it's just something that I've been going back and forth with in my mind. That's why I wanted to ask you about
some things just make sense. Everything ain't about race.
Is the notion of this word called racism? Yeah. So there's a term, I guess it was coined a few years back.
Why does little action figure dude look like Mike Epps on a horse?
On the internet, it's Sigma male, and it's self-described as being, I guess they actually, believe it or not, they illustrate the pyramid, like the food pyramid with alpha at the top, beta below it, gamma, etc.
Jesse on his horse here, he was like, told a cowboy today, have the spurs, the whip, the gun.
I was just talking about the dude, the little action figure on the cowboy horse, and he started talking about it. The other thing with him though is everyone seems to hate him because he's not BLM. You know, every especially man, every black man that had influence in some way, whether it be social media or they're a celebrity, some type of somebody famous, if they didn't support BLM, man, they got just hated all over, man. It's just crazy that you can't. Whether you agree with it or not, you should be able to have your own opinion about it. They want to have their opinions, and if not, then they get all crazy if you don't want to listen to it or disagree. And this man right here, just because he's black, does not mean that he has to agree with BLM and all that craziness.
On the side, that's cowboy all the way. Amazing!
Seems a lot like the twins. Yeah, I like the Hodge twins too.
Cowboy ride home late at night. From seeing his girlfriend on a Sunday evening. What the? Mitchell, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yes,
I
sir.
just wanted to say that you're doing a beautiful job on what you're doing here. Keep spreading the word of God. It's very beautiful, and have a good day.
You said have a good day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate that.
Keep spreading the word of God.
I will, buddy. Amazing. Thank you, Mitchell. Roland, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's up, Jesse? How you doing?
All is well, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I got a question for you because I listen to your show every morning at work, and the apology thing really hit home for me. You know, when I grew up, I was raised by a single father, a black man. I'm biracial, and my mom was a drug addict and all that stuff. But when I was 15 years old, my dad passed away, and my mom wasn't around, and I went with my dad's sister, and I was raised like in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, where everybody was smoking crack and selling drugs, and you know.
Let's see. Why is it so? Good Lord, I guess I'm getting tired. Why is it so crazy? Why is it so crazy and amazing? I don't know. You know they will push. They know they'll try to push you back. Just absolutely, I know. Yeah, they do all the time. You hate this towel, you know. It says we're live on Twitch.
My dad was always a sober person. He
okay.
was a sponsor in AA. He cleaned people up and got their life together. So when I went and lived with my aunts and my uncles and stuff like that, it was a whole different world. You know what I mean? So I got I was raised by a woman after he died, after being raised by a single man the whole time, and all my cousins, they sold crack, and like, you know, and then all my aunts and uncles, they smoke crack and stuff like that. So of course I gravitated towards the men who sold crack and sold drugs. And
this dude's done come in here and told everything about his whole life story and all his crackhead drug dealing family. If this is the only time you think he could run it without interference. He talking about like live stream? I don't know. I don't think anybody would give me a problem with my live streams, man. Really, and JLP is going to put in his place. Watch. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I got involved in that stuff like at a real young age, and I started getting you know, locked up and stuff, and during them years I kind of built a resentment towards
you don't have any interference. Well, I mean, if you mean like, I don't really understand. If you mean like people messing on my stream or getting it cut off, things like that, no, I get demonetized. I mean, if you're talking about my streams and stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll get demonetized for things and stuff like that, but
The fact that being demonetized is even a thing.
I don't know. But that don't bother me. It is what it is. I mean, they've been doing that ever since I started making these kind of videos. I mean, like your vids being seen.
I keep seeing something fly.
It's just a little moth or something.
No, but then like this.
What's crazy is if you know what's up in that community, but the rest want the opportunity to make use of the oppression check rather than to step out and on that world. Yeah, absolutely. Drug dealing and smoking crack will usually get you locked up. Yeah, this dude, I mean, that's a lot of information just to jump on the radio and start telling people.
But like you say, now
yeah, I usually
don't
really have any
now
problem
that,
with 79.
they didn't know any
nothing.
better.
I mean,
And,
DR, nothing
we have
real bad.
a family reunion
Used to,
coming up,
but not so much anymore.
and I was wondering, would it be helpful for me and my growth and my moving forward in life to kind of apologize to everybody for resenting them?
If you see that you need to do that, it definitely wouldn't hurt you. But let's say that you realize that your family members could not help themselves now, just as you couldn't help yourself. They did the best they could. They were blind. They couldn't see or can't see. Then just forgiving them, knowing that will cause you to forgive them, and your whole world will start to change. You'll come out of the darkness into the light. But if you feel like, or not feel like, if you see that you want to go there and just apologize, you can, but it's not necessary.
Right. So the thing about it is that now that everybody's older and stuff now, it's like all them people moved out of that lifestyle slowly but surely.
Right.
But I was kind of stuck in it, you know what I'm saying? That's why I kind of have, you know what I'm saying?
How old are you now?
I'm 39 now.
Oh, okay.
The last time I went to prison was in 5 years ago. But that's when I started thinking about it, you know what I mean? But like when I started listening to your show, the bond meetings, and
yes.
It brought a lot of awareness to me. I really don't have no resentment, but I kind of did for a long time.
And you don't have it now?
No.
So here's what I recommend. Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yeah, I do the silent prayer.
Every morning, every night?
Yes, sir.
Okay, stay with that, Roland. Stay with the prayer so that the light of God, the love of God will bring you out of the imagination. All thoughts are all lies all the time. And so whatever the imagination is telling you about you or a last week situation or years ago situation or the future is all lies. You just let them pass and you stay present, meaning that keep your body where your mind is, your mind where your body is. And I'm telling you, man, the light of God is changing that old nature which is not your own, is of the devil, and he's giving you his nature, the new nature, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you one other thing.
Yes.
My mom did start coming around about 10 years ago, and like about a month ago or so, I apologized to her for resenting her too.
Yeah.
And I was scared to do it at first, because I didn't want to hurt her feelings or nothing like that. But it went really well because she was like, "Oh, you're trying to heal too." She already knew, like somehow.
Yeah.
She already knew. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, man, you really help people out, and I appreciate what you do.
You're welcome.
I wish more young people would listen to you.
Yeah, and so just stay on the track then. Stay with the prayer, watch the thoughts, and there's nothing you can do about changing your nature from the old nature to the new nature. It will change. It is changing, and the fact that you can see where I'm coming from is God who is allowing you to see that. And as a result of seeing it, it's changing from the old to the new. And God could care two hoops and a holler about what you've done in life, and the bad or the good, or how many times you've been in jail and you smoke crack. He doesn't care at all about that, period.
I didn't never smoke crack. I
Okay.
I got involved in selling drugs and stuff.
With selling
doing destruction
drugs,
on other people's life.
well, selling drugs or any of that, he can care less about that. He's not, meaning that he's not judging you on it. He's not angry about it. He's not condemning you because he knows that that wasn't you. That was that spirit that made a home in your mind and emotion, and it was driving you. It was never you, never has been you, never will be you. You're doing fine. And so don't you judge yourself. God is not judging you. And you just live from moment to moment and let life happen. You'll be fine.
All righty, Jesse. Thank you.
And again, if you feel like you want to go to that reunion, just somehow else tell everybody, I'm sorry for resenting y'all. I realize now it won't hurt you. But just know one thing, that some of the members of the family will try to turn on you because the devil in them do not want to see you go free of the devil. And if they do try to attack you, don't take it personal. They cannot help it. They're being controlled by.
Let me catch these comments up. Just we're at their age to not even give anymore, and that's why I love you. Don't conform to the system. You doing this tonight is letting people know it's not just them. Well, one thing for sure is you can't conform to everything, because if you do, then we literally, the whole thing with everybody talking about, we just turn into sheep. That's just it. If you start conforming to one thing, the little small things that you believe, that you don't believe in. Let me back up. If you start giving in to the small things, then they come after the big things next. As simple as that. Start small, go big, and that's exactly where that's headed. I don't fear death. I fear death. I don't fear death. I don't fear death. I fear not being here. I don't like the thought of not being here anymore.
By evil.
Yeah. That's what more or less of what I was worried about. Like, would they not understand where I was coming from, or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Most of them will not, because they're of their father, the devil, and in their own mind they think they're better than you, and not knowing that they're worse. It's because you're seeing what's driving you. They're not seeing it. But if they do try to turn on you, don't argue with them. Don't try to prove anything. You just stay present and let your life happen. Don't get angry if they get angry at you, all right?
All right, Jesse.
I wish you well, Roller. Stay with you. You're doing fine.
All right, thank you, Jesse. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. Okay. Paul, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Jesse.
I love you. Love you, Justin. Stay on the right. Stay on the path and follow your heart. I love you too, DR. I love everybody. All right, let's see. Somebody said UFOs. Was that Magoo? I think he might have left. Let's just take this over here and see what happens. UFO footage 2023. Don't give up on the choice you chose to. I can't see comments on this thing, man. I need to redo the way this layout is. All the choice you choose to run. Chose to run. People will see and run even if it's one or two people, maybe three. Yeah. Hey, man. The way I look at that, the ones that leave, the ones that run, I'm gonna be here anyway. See, look at this. Welcome back, Truth. Oh wait, I'm not trying to use this guy's video and him get my videos taken down or something.
It is being called the biggest cover-up in history. UFO whistleblowers testifying on Capitol Hill that the United States has been in possession of non-human craft since the 1930s.
As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace. But they
that was you, Jay? All right, good. There we go.
These sightings are not rare or isolated.
Good, I'm glad you're still here.
Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden.
Well, that UFO whistleblower, Ryan Graves, is a former F-18 Navy pilot and executive director for Americans for Safe Aerospace, and he joins us right now, live from New Hampshire. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us today.
You will be there anyway, but sometimes people need guidance, and that you are. Wait. What? Not that you are God. Not that you are better than anyone else. Are you a weirdo? I don't think so, man. You're just thinking a lot. I definitely think you're a weirdo.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This hearing yesterday was really something, because I don't think, I think a lot of people think, oh, UFO, it's just one of those science fiction things. You have seen one with your own two eyes, and as we just heard from your testimony yesterday, a lot of commercial pilots and military pilots see them all the time.
It's not quite as rare as at least I thought before I joined the Navy. But, we started seeing objects pretty much on a daily basis once we upgraded our radar systems to a more advanced system. We then correlated those with other systems.
This dude is... Oh, he's this guy. Is that this guy? Mr. Graves? This dude's name is Ryan Graves. I guess that's him right there. That don't really look like that dude, though.
Systems on our jet, and eventually we saw them with our own eyeballs. They look like dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere. And we were always hitting these objects.
You got within 50 feet of one of these.
Can I share something
so
on what you're saying? Yeah.
Describe the last time you saw one.
Well, I did not get within 50 feet, believe it or not. A colleague in my squadron had a near midair with one of these objects where they were flying into the entry point to our area. This object went between two F-18s on the way in, within 50 feet. That was actually the first time we were able to gain a visual sight.
This just don't make any sense for me.
Myself and others, we would try to...
I don't know that I believe all that. Stay away from these unholy beings. John Jones meet up with Mark Zuckerberg and elicit a strong response from him. Man. I like John Jones. Yeah, I like John Jones. I don't like Mark Zuckerberg.
Fly up to these objects within about 500 feet for safety reasons, and they were very difficult to spot. But since we started having this problem initially, more and more pilots from the military have come forward, and I've been speaking with pilots who are still seeing these almost a decade later in the same place.
Sure, and
no, I ain't got to do either one of those.
It looks like, to a lot of people, that the United States government knows a lot more than they're saying. Why would they want to keep this such a big secret?
Hold on. I just like him.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to the whole national security side of this conversation, not wanting to reveal ways and means of intelligence gathering and system capabilities. And all that's fine, but the fact of a fundamental reality of our nature can't be ignored or classified. So UAP themselves, I think that the security classification
really?
guideline that defines what are about UAP is classified and what is not, I think that needs to be taken a look at. I think Congress needs to be involved so that we ensure that the American people are transparent on this conversation.
Sure.
Commercial aviators have this exact same problem as the military aviators. However, the commercial markets have not accepted or acknowledged that this is a true aviation safety hazard. And so there's a big discrepancy right now between how the military is mitigating this safety issue, national security issue, and how the commercial markets are ignoring this.
Sure. And I know you don't know. This could be man-made. It could be something from somewhere else, and that is not known right now. But I know that after you had seen one of these things for the first time, you were probably reluctant to tell people, hey, by the way, when I was up in the Hornet, I saw a UFO, because then people would think, Ryan, you're crazy.
Yeah, we didn't even recognize it as a UFO when we were seeing these amongst ourselves. We initially just thought they were errors. Then we thought they were some type of classified program. But over time, as the story evolved, the range of options of what it could be narrowed and narrowed, and we still don't know what they are today. However, there has been work done.
Hey, Paul.
The Anomaly Resolution Office at the Department of Defense has recently stated that about 50% of the objects they are seeing worldwide resemble the objects we are seeing on the eastern seaboard. Spheres traveling anywhere from stationary to 2.0 Mach and making extremely sudden accelerations and sudden movements. I think it's extremely important to say that Congress wasn't fully aware of how big of an aviation safety issue this was. I think one of the biggest successes out of this hearing was that they acknowledged this as a national security and aviation safety risk.
Our government's fully aware of all this shit has been for the last 60 years. I'm always best
conversation. Well, the conversation has started and you were part of it. Ryan, thank you very much for joining us today and telling us your story.
With a fake godlike human being.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Ryan Tilley. Like
and I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the...
There's not any celebrity people, whether it be an actor, a singer, a fighter, nobody like that I just look at them and think they're like the greatest thing ever, like some people do with others. It just doesn't work that way for me. These people to me, no matter how famous or how rich or any of that, they're no more than just another person, in my opinion. They just really good at something that makes them a lot of money. What's up, Jasper? How you doing, Quad? Hell yeah, man. I hope everything's going great with you, Jasper. So Beyonce telling people that she gets oppressed doesn't mean nothing. Well, that's not what I'm saying. Ain't what I'm saying. I don't believe at all in my opinion. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, well, what I was getting at by that is, I don't believe, in my opinion, that I'm not saying that in certain places that certain people don't have a rougher situation, but I don't believe, in my opinion, that oppression is a thing anymore. I believe that the way our country, the way our world is set up right now, that anybody can go out and do something. So I don't believe that anybody's oppressed anymore. I believe that if you're in a very bad situation and you're in a situation where you don't know how to get out of the situation, you can't get out of the neighborhood you live in, you can't get out of whatever it is that you can, it's just going to take more work for you to do that than it is for some other people. So, and at the same time, with that being said, there is also people that have a lot worse than you think you do, no matter how bad you got it. So, in my opinion, their oppression is not even a thing. I mean, it's just a matter of you got to work hard. You got maybe some different obstacles to deal with than other people, but you still have options and ways out. Doing great, my friends, family, everybody's great on my end for the most part. My dad's kind of sick right now and stuff like that, and his wife. But I mean, the wife, the kids, everybody's doing good though. Rough situation, and you're telling me she is lying. RIP. What do you mean? I don't. What do you mean? I don't keep up with like what these people say. So I don't. I mean, lying about what? Yeah. I mean, if she's saying that she's oppressed, then yeah, she's definitely lying. Ooga booga. She's on. Who cares? Yeah, I don't care what she says. If no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, if you're rich and living in this crazy wealthy lifestyle, you cannot talk about oppression. Am I a man of God? I am a man that believes. Do I live like this godly life and walk a straight path every day? No, I do not. But I do. I am definitely a believer. Yes. Let's see.
Hard pivot to a piece of tech.
Let's see. This video was from 3 weeks ago. So you're saying it's basically gay people are not godlike, but everything else should be represented. Well, my thoughts on God and the gay people thing and church and the Bible and religion and my thoughts on gay people to begin with. I don't care. And when I say I don't care, I'm not saying like I don't care like okay, I think it's okay. Somebody being gay, that is what it is. Leave me alone about it. Don't try to push it on me. Don't tell me I have to. Don't say I have to accept it. I don't have to accept it. I'm going to be respectful to everybody unless you are disrespectful to me first, whether I believe what they're saying or what they're doing or not. But
I'm gonna go get me some more tea.
Okay, baby. But I'm not just going to come out and treat somebody like crap because they're gay or whatever. But I am also not going to tell someone that I agree with it if I don't. But I do know what the Bible says about the Bible. I mean, I know what the Bible says about the Bible. I know what the Bible says about, gay people and all that. So if you ask about, God and all that. So if you look at it from that standpoint, then yeah, absolutely it's wrong. You ask a simple question, I know, and I give a very long, drawn-out answer. I do that with a lot of things. It's a yes or no. I'm gonna have to say, well, it's not as simple as a yes or no. I'm gonna have to say that I don't believe that there's things that walk on earth with us. No. We all put our pants on the same way every day. It's up to each of us individually as to how we want to work and to get ahead and achieve what each of us want in life. Absolutely, Jay. DR curious how the hell you're jumped. he jumped the gay people. Hey, he's just asking questions. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Jay. I mean, I've had friends along the way and family that of all different types of people and different characteristics, and it really doesn't bother me. Just try to be a good person, and not push your beliefs on me. And I honest to God don't care how you live. I ask if you believe in demons. Yeah, those kind of questions are like any question I answer is not, unless it is a question that is 100% can be answered with yes or no. Then I give a long drawn out answer. It's just I feel like I need to explain my answer to a lot of things. 79. It took your it won't put. It's not putting your comment up there. I can see it, but it's not putting it up there. I don't believe. No, I don't really believe. I'm not saying. That's what I was saying, DR. It's not like. It's not as simple. I mean, I know it's supposed to be. You're wanting a simple answer, but like I want to. Like I don't believe that there are like demons and entities that walk with us on Earth. No.
The dog was making noise and I saw a dog run past me. It scared me.
It ain't one of our dogs. You crazy kid. But I do believe that there are things in other places, maybe. But I don't think that there are things that walk around on Earth with us. Yeah. So you don't believe in God? I do believe in God. I can believe in good, not evil. I'm not saying. I know I didn't say that there's not evil. There's definitely things here. This dude, he's trying to trick me. That's right. Some of the different versions of the Bible are written by the same people. Yeah, I agree. No, I definitely believe. I mean, obviously there's evil. Almost everything going on in the world today is evil. What do you mean, what's so tricky? I mean, what does the Bible say? The Bible says there's demons. But I don't know. I'm not going to ever act like I sit here and I don't know that much about the Bible as far as like detail. I know about the Bible, but I don't know. You're not going to be able to get me to start quoting scripture and things like that because it doesn't work. R.I.P. I know, yeah. It's bad.
What they've seen. On the 29th of April, 2023, a dairy farmer living in rural Texas shared a disturbing image with his daughter Lorinda, who later uploaded it to the internet asking for advice. The father lives alone, a fair distance outside of Austin, in an old wooden farmhouse blocked by rows of fields and buildings containing dairy machines. Although the farm is bustling during the day,
not all of them are here for it. It's good. You are absolutely. There's definitely evil things and there's definitely bad things, but I don't know that everything is. Dior's a troll. Yeah, he's trying to. I see him, but you could just tell me what it says about it, Dior. That way I'm informed.
With workers operating every piece of equipment, at nighttime, the old man's only companion is a mixed-breed German Shepherd puppy that he rescued from the pound. He claimed that he woke up to unusual noises at approximately 10:30 p.m. When he realized the sounds were coming from the corral, he immediately went out to investigate. In the wake of an unfortunate explosion that occurred mere weeks ago and killed 18,000 cattle in deadly fires, farmers around the area have been very on edge, and this night was no different. The farmer went outside, and his keen eye immediately spotted a pale figure approaching the wooden cow pens. This creature was allegedly walking in a disturbingly odd way. It towered above the animals, seemingly inspecting the sleeping cattle, though perhaps the most peculiar thing was that it didn't rouse the cows at all. His dog responded instantly to the creature's presence, and he started off in that direction on high alert. He growled, which his owner mentioned as
I think they believe in the highest form of love. I believe they believe the highest form of love is with a young boy. Yeah, Read the Bible. I should actually, to be honest with you, I should read my Bible more. I actually just got it the other day and put it next to the bed. That way I could actually start reading the Bible more. It's pretty simple. There's good and evil. If you live life trying to be good, you will receive good. If you live life in an evil way, you receive evil. I believe that 100%. I think if you live right and you live good, of course, bad things are going to happen. You're going to have hard times, but I believe a lot more better things happen to you if you live right and try to live good.
Completely out of character for the lovable young puppy. The farmer explained to his daughter that he didn't feel afraid, but rather numb to seeing something so ethereal. He was paralyzed for a while before reality sunk in, and he rushed into the house to retrieve.
These are those rhombohedron crystals in
The Pope still says it, but it's in Latin. Yeah, I don't I'm kind of scared of the Pope, to be honest with you. He seems a little strange. Don't think of. Wait, what? Where'd it go? Don't think of this bullshit as long as I can ask for forgiveness one day.
Was taken while the dad was waiting for the police to arrive. The image
Absolutely.
has inexplicably gotten banned
I believe in
numerous
karma big time.
times from a well-known social media platform.
I don't know why I didn't put your comment.
The daughter
over
posted it and explained how her dad captured it only seconds before the mysterious being allegedly jolted off at an inhuman speed and vanished into the night. The photo he took is grainy because of how dark it was, and he didn't have a high-end phone. But you can still make out that whatever was photographed very closely resembles an alien of sorts. Whether you believe in that sort...
All I see is a stick. Yeah, karma is real, 100%. If you do bad things to people, bad things are going to happen to you. If you do bad things in general, eventually bad things are going to start coming around and happen to you. They want you to think as long as God's forgiveness, I'm saved. Okay, I'm listening to you. Keep going.
Alien of sorts. Whether you believe in that sort of thing or not, whatever appears in this picture is by no means human. It features thin, pale skin and large black eyes with abnormally long arms. When asked about her father, Lorinda confirmed that he was an old-fashioned, no-nonsense type of guy who was not overly skeptical or paranoid. If anything, possessing a very resilient mind
That's 100%.
based in reality.
Absolutely. I agree.
So this was not something conjured up in his head. She expressed her concerns and stated that what makes it all truly horrifying is that her dad isn't tech-savvy. He can barely operate a simple mobile device, much less possess the capabilities to manipulate images of this nature. When an officer from the Austin Police Department arrived almost an hour later to take the farmer's report, the entire incident was ignorantly dismissed. The local authorities believe the elderly man was simply unfit to be living by himself in solitude. However, there's a questionable interval upon closer inspection of the responding officer's body cam footage. An odd reflection in the video taken on the farm depicts a curious object raised into the sky. From a distance, you can vaguely trace a tall beam appearing.
Okay.
His name is Ace.
Karma is real, but possession, what the world? Possession by demons is not. I actually agree with that, DR. I agree all the way. I've seen videos of people that say that, they're doing exorcisms or they're possessed by demons. No, let me back up. I don't agree with that. I do. I just don't. I don't know how to describe. I don't know how to explain what my answer is. I'll figure out how to explain it, and I'll be able to explain it to you at a later time. But like how I feel about that. I see videos of people that say these people that they're videoing are possessed by demons, man, and it just looks so crazy to think that's. It's like walking the videos of these churches where they hit you in the head and you're healed, while as they're pulling demons out in church. It's just God is the Almighty. Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know.
stark
I just don't know how to give you my answer in words. I'll get it figured out. I have no judgment upon no one. I'll get it figured out because I have a thought on it, and like I said, it's just my thought. I mean, I'm not a Bible expert by no means, but I do have a thought on demons. But it's not exactly that they're walking and jumping into bodies and people, like things like that. But like I said, I'm not a Bible expert.
Contrast to the moonless night, with this being snapped quickly while the farmer trod closer to the pens. Ever since then, the farmer's terrified daughter has pleaded with him to relocate, but he simply refuses to leave his home of nearly 40 years. They did, however, come to a compromise, and he had a reliable security system installed, which his daughter now regularly monitors, but nothing odd has happened since.
So what exactly do I believe in? I believe that Earth. I believe that we were put here by God. I believe that God created everything in existence. I do believe that the way the Bible reads, the things that are supposed to take place, I feel as though all these things are being fulfilled in some order, and that there is something. I don't know to what extent, that I feel 100% confirmed in, but I believe that there is definitely something bigger than us, and I don't know. But I don't believe in demons. That's what I'm saying, man. It's not that I don't believe in demons. I don't know how to put into words how I feel about that. Or a godly system where evil doesn't exist besides Earth. No, I definitely believe there's good and evil. DR just curious why you're trying to trap me. He is trying to trap me. I don't know how to get it out, but
Is the stuff in the dishwasher clean?
I don't know, baby. Yeah, probably.
The spoon isn't.
I don't know. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in demons. I believe in demons. Okay. I don't know, DR. I don't really know how to explain it to you right now. I'll get it figured out in my head, and I'll get it split. 79 is someone you should honestly. 79 is someone you should honestly stop treading times.
On the 5th of June 2019, the residents of the suburbs of Sleepy Hollow in Amarillo, Texas, reported seeing multiple strange objects flickering in numerous colors against the night sky. Although news circulated fast in the local area, and witnesses to this phenomenon consisted of many community members, there was only one couple with a story nobody would believe. For the purpose of this retelling, we'll refer to the pair as Chris and Eva. The newlyweds were welcomed by neighbors with open arms, as they were fresh out of Washington and seeking somewhere close to relatives, quiet enough to settle down in, and suitable for potentially starting a family. Ironically, the first week in their new home saw nature decide to greet the city with a dirt storm. But this disaster was just the start of what should have been a joyful new beginning. It was Wednesday night, and Chris was working late as a veteran.
How do I expect anybody to believe my ways? I'm lost in that, Are you they them? Pronouns. What state was it just made, or they're trying to make it illegal to make it a felony? I mean, to use the incorrect pronouns on somebody.
Assistant when he received a frantic call from his wife, who told him that two men were standing in their backyard. Eva couldn't provide much more information past the point. They were acting strange, very tall, nude, pale, and just weird looking. Chris told her to immediately phone the police. And
the reason I put Legion on a license plate Lamborghini.
Upon arriving, the street was vacant. No police cars had arrived yet, and he found Eva cowering near the front door.
It's not trying. They did. What was my answer? It was. Am I they them? I'm just me, dude. There ain't no pronouns for me. I am just. Yeah, that's crazy. How are they going to expect to do that? How are they going to expect everyone to always know someone's pronouns? Come on, about naked with so compelled Benelli is. Lips.
Anxiously waiting for him. She told him that the pair were still at the rear of the building. Determined to protect his wife, Chris returned to confront whoever it was. Let's see what Jay's about to say. Let's not go there. What are you talking about? With the pronouns? I mean, you gotta get that right, man, because you start misgendering people with the pronouns and you're going to prison for calling somebody a he when she's a them. I mean, can you imagine going to prison, getting put in a cell with some dude that's like a double homicide suspect, and then you're like, oh, what are you in here for? And you have to tell him because you called somebody a he when she was actually a she. Oh, I'm sorry, that's misgendering. It would be calling them a them day when they're actually not that at all. You're okay with what? I think to me it's funny. It would be funny. Misgendering to me is not a thing. There is no such thing as misgendering. If you're a dude that looks like a woman and you get called a dude, then you're not misgendered. You're still. That's just is what it is. I respond to everybody with whatever I can tell that they are. I don't think, to me, misgendering is not actually a thing. That's just another reason for someone to say their feelings are hurt. To lock my ass up, yeah, absolutely, Jay. But it's. Found was two beings studying their patio furniture. When they saw him, he described their response as similar to that of a deer in headlights, and they immediately froze before recovering themselves and darting off. Still, the couple cannot explain exactly.
You want to call this guy, say, you know what I mean? We could tempt you. Yo, what's up, Joe? Welcome, man. Welcome, welcome. Just like all the madness, eventually the pronouners will hang themselves with their own traps, man. I know this thing with the pronouns and the misgendering, and it's all insane. That just don't even, none of it even makes sense.
Exactly how they managed to escape or where they went, since they also became fear-stricken. Thankfully for them, a lone officer from the Amarillo Police Department showed up no longer than 10 minutes later and patrolled around the house. However, he was unable to find anything that would support what the couple had seen. The dirt storm was also building up, and they couldn't spend a lot of time searching outside without breathing in the sand. The attending officer apologized for failing to assuage their worries, though he assured them that he'd be in the area if anything else turned up and to give the station a call. Shortly after the officer left, the couple allegedly saw the mysterious pair reappear in their yard. They seemed to be scavenging around in search of something, and that was the last thing Chris and Eva could recall. The next morning, they woke up to find their home ransacked and every window shattered. They couldn't remember hearing any noises or even recall falling asleep the night before. It was as if their memory blocked out whatever had happened after spotting the strange beings for the second time. APD received the report of a break-in that morning, although the dirt storm was easily used to rationalize the state of the building. It was as simple.
Hyundai Ioniq 6 versus Tesla Model 3. Look what Ioniq 6 has and what Tesla Model 3 doesn't. Hyundai Ioniq 6 wins every time.
Occurrence to blame the broken windows for. Yet the wreck inside the home failed to yield any logical explanations. The only thing the partners were adamant about was the fact that the tall creatures had something to do with it. But ever since then, a large majority of the community has collectively dismissed any claims from the couple. When asked by reporters, Eva expressed her belief that their rejection might be due to fear of the entities, or of having government investigators and scientists flooding their quiet suburbs. Regardless of their disbelief, Chris finds that the people he's talked to in the nearby streets are on edge. While his memory of the second encounter is obscured, he's now constantly paranoid about the otherworldly home invaders returning. He has since hooked up CCTV to the front and rear of their house and encouraged his neighbors to do the same, in the hopes of catching any oddities in the future. Despite the rocky start to their new life, Chris and Eva are adamant that moving was the correct choice and are eager not to let this event deter them from the area. If the current national problems we face aren't bad enough, it seems like whatever entities visited Earth in recent months.
Y'all think if there are aliens, you think they're coming down here in spaceships looking like that right there? Somebody need a drink. Somebody definitely need a drink. That's for sure. I mean, that's a pretty crazy looking thing for no one to... I mean, only a few people occasionally ever see these things.
Months appear to have taken a liking to our world. Off the grid, and are not up to date with new technology. Yet they were forced to turn to the web after the authorities couldn't provide any answers or even aid to their dilemma.
All right.
Apparently every night for the past...
Let's see. Oh, yeah, all right. I think I'm going to end it right there, guys. I appreciate you guys, DR, Minnie, Jay, all you guys have been hanging out, man. I really appreciate y'all. And I will hold you guys later. I may do this again tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Saturday. Well, later today, Saturday. Be good. Saturday night live. That'd be good. All right. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys leave a like. I'll hold you guys later.